Welcome back to Bible Quizzes. We have a special quiz today based on dads of the Bible. Let's get started. 1. What betrayal act did Samson's father-in-law do to him? He stole from Samson, he gave Samson's wife to another man, he lied about Samson's strength, or he conspired to kill Samson. He gave Samson's wife to another man. Judges 15:2. Her father said, I really thought that you thoroughly hated her, therefore I gave her to your companion. Is not your younger sister better than she? Please take her instead. 2. Who was the grandson of Eli? Ichabod, Phinehas, Samuel, or Hophni? Ichabod, 1 Samuel 4:21. Then she named the child Ichabod, saying, The glory has departed from Israel because the ark of God had been captured and because of her father-in-law Eli and her husband. 3. Who was the father-in-law of Ruth? Boaz, Jesse, Mahlon, or Elimelech? Elimelech, Ruth 1:2. The name of the man was Elimelech, the name of his wife was Naomi, and the names of his two sons were Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. 4. Who are the two sons of Zebedee? James and John, Peter and Andrew, Philip and Bartholomew, or Thomas and Matthew? James and John, Matthew 4:21. Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James the son of Zebedee and John his brother, in the boat with Zebedee their father. Mending their nets, he called them. 5. Who was loved by his father because of the game meat he cooked for him? Jacob, Ishmael, Esau, or Isaac? Esau, Genesis 25:28. Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. 6. Who had to send his stepson away because his wife wanted him gone? Isaac, David, Abraham, or Ahab? Abraham, Genesis 21:10. Therefore she said to Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, namely with Isaac. 7. Who had children with his daughters? Esau, Noah, Jacob, or Lot? Lot, Genesis 19:36. Thus both the daughters of Lot were with child by their father. 8. How many sons did Job have after the calamity? 5, 7, 10, or 3? 7. Job 42:13. The Lord blessed the latter days of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 female donkeys. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. 9. Who was the father of David? Jesse, Boaz, Saul, or Obed? Jesse. 1 Samuel 17:58. And Saul said to him, Whose son are you, young man? So David answered, I am the son of your servant Jesse the Bethlehemite. 10. Who raised Esther after her parents died? Mordecai, Ahasuerus, Haman, or Haggai? Mordecai, Esther 2:7. And Mordecai had brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. The young woman was lovely and beautiful. When her father and mother died, Mordecai took her as his daughter. 11. Who was the father of John the Baptist? Simeon, Joseph, Zechariah, or Peter? Zechariah, Luke 1:13. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah. Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you are to call him John." 11. Who was the father of John the Baptist? Simeon, Joseph, Zechariah, or Peter? Zechariah, Luke 1:13. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah. Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you are to call him John." 12. How many sons did Sceva have? 6, 7, 12, or 10? Seven, Acts 19:14. And there were 7 sons of one Sceva, a Jew and chief of the priests, which did so. 13. What was the ethnicity of Timothy's father? Roman, Egyptian, Jewish, or Greek? Greek. Acts 16:1. Paul came also to Derbe and to Lystra. A disciple was there named Timothy, the son of a Jewish woman who was a believer, but his father was a Greek. 14. Who offered his son as a burnt offering to stop a battle he was losing? Moabite king, Ahab, Jephthah, or Ahaz? Moabite king, 2 Kings 3:27. And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too fierce for him, then he took his eldest son who would have reigned in his place, and offered him as a burnt offering upon the wall, and there was great indignation against Israel. 15. Who told the Pharisees their father was the devil? John the Baptist, Jesus, Paul, or Peter? Jesus. John 8:44 said, Jesus said to them, "If God were your father, you would love me. You are of your father the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth." 16. Who is Adam's father according to the genealogy of the Bible? God, the earth, Melchizedek, or an angel? God. Luke 3:38. The son of Enosh, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, the son of God. 17. What was the relationship between Lot and Abraham? Father and son, uncle and nephew, in-laws, or cousins? Uncle and nephew. Genesis 11:27. This is the genealogy of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran begot Lot. 18. Who was Manoah's son? Samson. Judges 13:24. So the woman, Manoah's wife, bore a son and called his name Samson, and the child grew, and the Lord blessed him. 19. Who was commanded not to mourn his sons that God killed? David, Aaron, Abraham, or Eli? Aaron. Leviticus 10:6. And Moses said to Aaron and to Eleazar and Ithamar his sons, "Do not uncover your heads nor tear your clothes, lest you die, and wrath come upon all the people. But let your brethren bewail the burning which the Lord kindled." 20. Who was Noah's grandson? Canaan, Lamech, Enosh, or Esau? Canaan. Genesis 9:18. Now the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham was the father of Canaan. 21. Joseph was considered a father in relation to Pharaoh. True. Genesis 45:8. So now it was not you who sent me here, but God, and he has made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. 22. How old was Noah when he had his sons? 100, 300, 500, or 120? Genesis 5:32, and Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. 23. What did Lamech say when he named Noah? He will live a long life, he will be a mighty man, he will save us from our enemies, or he will comfort us in our labor and toil. He will comfort us in our labor and toil. Genesis 5:29, he called his name Noah, saying, This one will comfort us concerning our work and the toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord has cursed. 24, who were the three sons of Judah? Perez, Zerah, and Hezron, Reuben, Simeon, and Levi, Joseph, Benjamin, and Dan, or Onan, and Shelah? Onan, and Shelah. Genesis 38, 3-5. So she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name She conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan, and she conceived yet again and bore a son, and called his name Shelah. 25. Who among Jacob's sons pledged the life of his sons if he couldn't keep his young brother safe? Reuben, Levi, Simeon, or Judah? Reuben. Genesis 42:37. Then Reuben spoke to his father, saying, Kill my two sons if I do not bring him back to you. Put him in my hands, and I will bring him back to you. 26. What city was cursed that its rebuilder would build it on the sacrifice his sons? Ai, Jericho, Bethel, or Jerusalem? Jericho. Joshua 6:26. Then Joshua charged them at that time, saying, Cursed be the man before the Lord who rises up and builds the city Jericho. He shall lay its foundation with his firstborn, and with his youngest he shall set up its gates. 27. Why did Jephthah tear his clothes when his daughter received him after the battle? He was saddened by the loss of his wife, he was attacked by enemies, he vowed to sacrifice what met him first, or his daughter had committed sin. He vowed to sacrifice what met him first. Judges 11:35. And it came to pass when he saw her that he tore his clothes and said, Alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low. You are among those who trouble me, for I have given my word to the Lord, and I cannot go back. 28. How many sons of Ahab were killed under Jehu's command? 10, 70, 20, or 54? 70. 2 Kings 10:7. So it was, when the letter came to them, that they took the king's sons and slaughtered 70 persons, put their heads in baskets, and sent them to him at Jezreel. 29. Whom did Elisha call, My father, my father? Elijah. 2 Kings 2:12. Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven, and Elisha saw it, and he cried out, my father, the chariot of Israel and its horsemen. So he saw him no more, and he took hold of his own clothes and tore them into two. 30. Who among his sons did Abraham nearly offer as a sacrifice? Isaac, Jacob, Esau, or Ishmael? Isaac. Genesis 22:2. Then he said, Take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. 31. Who were the two grandsons, sons of Lot? Esau and Jacob, Moab and Ammon, Isaac and Ishmael, or Reuben and Simeon? Moab and Ammon. Genesis 19:37-38. The firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day and the younger. She also bore a son and called his name Ben-Ami. He is the father of the people of Ammon to this day. 32. Who among these was Solomon's son? Abijah, Asa, Rehoboam, or Jeroboam? Rehoboam. 1 Kings 11:43. Then Solomon rested with his fathers and was buried in the city of David his father, and Rehoboam his son reigned in his place. 33. What did the Jews say Jesus did when he claimed God was his father? He was a false prophet, disrespecting God, he was out of his mind, or he was blaspheming? He was blaspheming. John 10:33. The Jews answered him, saying, For a good work we do not stone you, but for blasphemy, and because you, being a man, make yourself God. 34. Who was the firstborn son of David? Amnon, Ahinoam, Solomon, or Adonijah? Amnon. 2 Samuel 3:2. Sons were born to David in Hebron. His firstborn was Amnon by Ahinoam the Jezreelites. 35. Who was promised by God to be made a father of many nations? Moses, Abraham, Noah, or Enoch? Abraham. Genesis 17:5. No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations. 36. Who is considered the father of faith? Noah, Moses, Abraham, or Jesus? Abraham. Romans 4:16. Therefore it is of faith that it might be according to grace, so that the promise might be sure to all the seed, not only to those who are of the law, but also to those who are of the faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all. 37. Who prophesied about the turning of the fathers' hearts to the sons? Jeremiah, Malachi, Isaiah, or Ezekiel? Malachi 4:6, and he will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers. 38. What did God caution would happen if the fathers and sons' hearts did not unite? The families would be separated, there would be no rain, there would be famine, or the earth would be cursed. The earth would be cursed. Malachi 4:6, and he will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with a curse. 39. Who was struck dumb for not believing the promise of having a son? Zechariah, Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob? Zechariah, Luke 1:20, but behold, you, Zechariah, will be mute and not able to speak until the day these things take place, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their own time. 40. Which angel announced to Zechariah the birth of John? Uriel, Raphael, Gabriel, or Gabriel? Gabriel, Luke 1:19-18. And Zechariah said to the angel, How shall I know this? And the angel answered and said to him, I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of God, and was sent to speak to you and bring you these glad tidings. 41. Ishmael had 12 sons. True. Genesis 25:16. These were the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, by their villages and by their encampments, 12 princes according to their tribes. 42. Whom did Paul call his son in the faith? John Mark, Luke, Peter, or Timothy? Timothy. 1 Timothy 1:2. To Timothy, a true son in the faith, grace, mercy, and peace from God our Father and Jesus Christ our Lord. 43. What did Jesus tell the disciple who said he first wanted to bury his father before following him? I will raise your father from the dead. Let the dead bury their own dead. Go and make peace with your family, or you are not worthy of me. Let the dead bury their own dead. Matthew 8:22. But Jesus said to him, Follow me, and let the dead bury their own dead. 44. What was the other name of Jethro, Moses' father-in-law? Reuel, Phinehas, Hobab, or Nadab? Reuel. Exodus 2:18. When they came to Reuel their father, he said, How is it that you have come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us from the hand of the shepherds, and he also drew enough water for us and watered the flock. 45. Who was the father of Jesse? Obed. Ruth 4:21. Salmon begot Boaz, and Boaz begot Obed. Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. 46. What did Rachel and Leah say about their father? He loved them dearly, he sold them, he favored Rachel over Leah, or he was always fair to them. He sold them. Genesis 31:15. Are we not considered strangers by him? For he has sold us, and also completely consumed our money. 47. How old was Isaac when he had his two sons? 40, 90, 60, or 100? Genesis 25:26. Afterward his brother came out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, so his name was called Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when she bore them. 48. How many sons did Terah, Abram's father, have? 12, 3, 1, or 7? Genesis 11:26. Now Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. 49. Who among Terah's sons died young before Terah? Abram, Nahor, Lot, or Haran? Haran. Genesis 11:28. And Haran died before his father Terah in his native land in Ur of the Chaldeans. 50. Kish was Joshua's father. False. Joshua 1:1. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spoke to Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' assistant. 51. How many sons did Abraham have with Keturah? 6, 7, 12, or 8? Genesis 25:2. Abraham again took a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bore him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. 52. What did Abraham give to the sons of his concubines before sending them away? Blessings, money, or gifts? Gifts. Genesis 25:6. But Abraham gave gifts to the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, and while he was still living, he sent them eastward, away from Isaac his son, to the country of the east. 53. What significant thing did Jacob do when blessing the sons of Joseph? He gave them land as inheritance, he made them princes, putting his right hand on the younger son, or he named them after his forefathers. Putting his right hand on the younger son. Genesis 48:14. Then Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head, guiding his hands knowingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. 54. Who was the father of Saul? Kish. Samuel 9:1-2. There was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, and he had a choice and a handsome son whose name was Saul. 55. What had Rachel named Benjamin before Jacob changed his name? Ben-Hadad, Benoni, Ben-Hur, or Benjamin? Ben-Oni. Genesis 35:18. And so it was, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. 56. What was known about the sons of Samuel the prophet? They were dishonest and corrupt, they were mighty warriors, they were faithful priests, or they were prophets. They were dishonest and corrupt. 1 Samuel 8:3. But his sons did not walk in his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain, took bribes, and perverted justice. 57. What did David do when he heard Absalom, his treasonous son, was dead? He wept bitterly, he held his peace, he praised God, or he celebrated. He wept bitterly. 2 Samuel 18:33. Then the king was deeply moved and went up to the chamber over the gate and wept, and as he went. 58. Whom did Jacob consider the son of his old age? Benjamin, Levi, Joseph, or Judah? Joseph. Genesis 37:3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. 59. Who came to Jesus asking him to heal his dead daughter? Nicodemus, Jairus, Zacchaeus, or Bartimaeus? Jairus. Mark 5:22-23. One of the rulers of the synagogue came, Jairus by name. He fell at his feet and begged him earnestly, saying, My little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, that she may be healed, and she will live. 60. Who among his sons did David say he could die for? Adonijah, Amnon, Solomon, or Absalom? Absalom. 2 Samuel 18:33. Then the king was deeply moved and went up to the chamber over the gate and wept. And as he went, he said thus, O my son Absalom, my son Absalom, if only I had died in your place. O Absalom, my son, my son. 61. Who was Jonathan's lame son? Ishbosheth, Meribel, Mephibosheth, or Melchishua? Mephibosheth. 2 Samuel 9:6. Now when Mephibosheth the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, had come to David, he fell on his face and prostrated himself. Then David said, Mephibosheth, and he answered, Here is your servant. 62. What did the father of the prodigal give his son upon his return? A robe, ring, sandals, or all of the above? All of the above. Luke 15:22. But the father said to his servants, "Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet." 63. Who lost all his children in one day? David, Job, Jehu, or Lot? Job. Job 1:18-19. Your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the four corners of the house. It collapsed on them and they are dead. 64. How many sons did Moses have? 2, 4, 3, or 6? Two. Exodus 18:3-4. With her were 2 sons. One son was named Gershom, for Moses said, "I have become a foreigner in a foreign land." And the other was named Eliezer, for he said, "My father's God was my helper." 65. Who said, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord"? Moses, Judah, Joshua, or Solomon? Joshua. Joshua 24:15. But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. 66. What did Gideon's father say when his son got in trouble for destroying the altar of Baal? He remained silent, he rebuked his son, he offered a sacrifice to Baal, or he challenged Baal to defend himself. He challenged Baal to defend himself. Judges 6:31. But Joash said to all who stood against him, "Would you plead for Baal? Let the one who would plead for him be put to death by morning. If he is a god, let him contend for himself, because his altar has been broken down." 67. Who among the judges of Israel had 30 sons who rode on 30 donkeys? Abimelech, Jair, Jephthah, or Gideon? Jair. Judges 10:4. After him arose Jair, a Gileadite, and he judged Israel 22 years. He had 30 sons who rode on 30 donkeys. They had 30 towns in Gilead, which to this day are called Havoth Jair. 68. Who among the judges of Israel gave his daughter an inheritance? Gideon, Jephthah, Caleb, or Samson? Caleb. Judges 1:15. So she said to him, "Give me a blessing, since you have given me land in the south. Give me also springs of water." And Caleb gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. 69. What did Gideon say about his father's house? It was honored among the tribes, it was the richest in the land, he was the least in his father's house, or it was mighty in valor. He was the least in his father's house. Judges 6:15. So he said to him, "O my lord, how can I save Israel? Indeed, my clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house." 70. From which place did Elkanah the father of Samuel come? Ramathaim, Jerusalem, Ramah, or Bethel? Ramathaim. 1 Samuel 1:1. There was a certain man from Ramathaim, a Zuphite from the hill country of Ephraim, whose name was Elkanah. 71. What punishment was given to one who had physically hit his father in the Mosaic law? Banishment, death, fines, or imprisonment? Death. Exodus 21:15. Anyone who attacks their father or mother is to be put to death. 72. Fill in the blanks. Every good gift and every perfect gift comes down from the Father of blank. Power, life, love, or lights. Lights. James 1:17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow of turning. 73. Which term is used to refer to God as Father? Elohim, Yahweh, Abba, or Adonai? Abba. Romans 8:15. For you did not receive a spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but you received the spirit of sonship, and by him we cry, Abba, Father. 74. What did the father of the prodigal son give his son before he left home? A robe, his inheritance, a ring, or a blessing? His inheritance. Luke 15:12. The younger one said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate. So he divided his property between them. 75. Which of the 10 commandments says one must honor father and mother? The 10th commandment, 6th commandment, 4th commandment, or 5th commandment? The 5th commandment. 5th commandment says, Exodus 20:12, honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. 76. What unique promise is attached to honoring one's father and mother? Prosperity, long life, wisdom, or peace? Long life. Exodus 20:12. Honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. 77. Who was the father of Judas Iscariot? James Iscariot, Hoseas Iscariot, Simon Iscariot, or Matthias Iscariot? Simon Iscariot. John 6:71. He spoke of Judas the son of Simon Iscariot, for it was he who would betray him, being one of the 12. 78. Who said, call no man your father on earth, for you have one Father who is in heaven? John the Baptist, Paul, Peter, or Jesus? Jesus. Matthew 23:9. Then Jesus spoke to the multitudes and to his disciples, saying, and do not call anyone on earth Father, for ye have one Father, and he is in heaven. 79. Which New Testament genealogy records follow the fathers rather than the sons? Luke's genealogy, John's genealogy, Matthew's genealogy, or Mark's genealogy? Matthew's genealogy. Matthew 1:2-15. This genealogy traces Jesus' lineage through his ancestors, listing fathers first. 80. Why should fathers not provoke their children? To avoid making them angry, so that they can have an easy life, to ensure they obey every rule, or so as not to discourage them? So as not to discourage them. Colossians 3:21. Fathers, do not provoke your children lest they become discouraged. And that's all our questions we have for today. So let us know how you did down below with your score, then send this to your friends and family to compare your scores, and we'll see you guys in the next one.